And even if you were to have like a prompt of 10 different things, right? Like say if you had one prompt of like, oh, like here's 10 different personality traits, here's 10 different superpowers, here's 10 different drawbacks.
I like coming up with random list of powers and then just see what I come up with.
Imagine rolling just those things every single time. It's always going to vary. The possibility of that happening is, again, like a 1 in 10 chance, but it's like, it shows that there's an infinite possibility.
Always something else cool right around the corner that we can come up with, because there's no end to the prompts. There's no end to what we can roll up.
Now we're going to be officially rolling for superpowers. This is usually the make or break.
Roll for Hero!
Ayo and hello everyone, and welcome to Roll for Hero, a segment of the channel in which we let the dice dictate what on God's green earth we will be drawing for today. It is me, your ever weird and ever loving strawberry cow headphone wearing Uncle E, and of course with me today is our big bearded bald headed beautiful co-star. You know him, you love him, claim to be the world's sexiest man of all time, Mr. Fish.
What is up, everybody? Good to see you. Good afternoon, Dragon Gaming. Jordan, Bill Treadwell in the house. Good to see you. Glad everybody could make it. Glad to be here for Roll for Hero. Excited to see everybody. Hope the new setup works out well for everybody. I've been trying to fancy it up around here, getting schmancy and all. Well, he had to change to the headphones on the audio, so it's a little loud. The microphone's close to the mouth, but
yeah,
we're figuring things out. Got the AC running and everything, and it definitely cut down on the noise from the AC because it sounded like Uncle E was getting boiled alive earlier.
Yeah.
You could hear the wind going on the microphone.
Downside of having a MacBook Pro is that it overheats really quickly, and even with an OG like cooling bed that I have, it's still not cooling it down properly enough. So I need to have like my computer basically like in a frozen ice box in order for it to like properly function. So so the computer's functioning, borrowing the wife's strawberry cow headset. So, gotta love it here. Plus, I have the microphone attachment. I did have a set of headphones that did have like a microphone attachment to it. I think I lent it to my brother, and he has yet to give those back. So he's probably gonna do the classic thing where he's like, "These were mine the whole time." No, they aren't, Luke. Yeah. Those are mine, Luke.
No, I remember buying these that one time. Yeah, all right. Yours were different. Yours were green. Yeah, that's it. Been there. Got boys.
Outside of that, guys, we are so close. Literally 2 days away from the Roll for Hero Handbook Kickstarter from completing. Mind you, we had this Kickstarter basically for the entirety of this month. And first 5 hours when we had this Kickstarter launched, it was already fully funded. Like, I don't know, because I think 5 is like my lucky number, oddly enough, because that's also the same amount of numbers. That's the same amount of letters, in my, company's name, ULTRA, Ultra. 5 is weirdly enough my favorite number. 5-star podcast that you should totally go check out whenever that is out there. And then on top of that, first 5 hours, our entire Roll for Hero handbook, it has been officially fully funded, so that is fantastic. But mind you, we have reached the secondary stretch goal of having the Roll for Hero character sketch pad where you get to rip off the pages and get to doodle your character, depending on what you rolled out. Like, this is astonishing. I'm really excited to see where this goes. And mind you, we're 220 something % funded, if I'm incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get emails every morning stating, "Hey, you'll
get those." That's true.
I got the email being like, "Congratulations, you are, so and so." Like, what was it called?
36% funded right now. What is up, Deadpool? Good to see you, man.
Hey, how you doing, guy? Yeah, but we got so we're 237% funded with 51 backers and with 2 days left. We have already reached the primary goal, and now we're just shooting for anything higher than that, just because we can.
What's up,
Hey, howdy. Hey, how are we doing today? I mean, I'm super excited for this. So today we're gonna not focus on the mini comic this time around. This is, of course, one of our more public episodes. If you want to partake in being on the stream, helping us actually create the comic, seeing how we actually lay out the dialogue, getting to see how we put the entire page together, be sure to go check out the Roll for Hero Handbook Kickstarter. Again, for as little as a singular Abraham Lincoln, 5 George Washingtons, you can make your way on over to the exclusive streams and be a part of the comic making process. Again, to toss out some awesome ideas and to kind of see where it goes from there. So be sure to go check out the Roll for Hero Handbook Kickstarter. Literally 2 days remaining as of this stream. So yeah, go check it out. Found it.
And we were thinking that today, since this is one of our public streams and we want to be able to get the word out as much as possible to people who might be stumbling across the video while we're out here, we wanted to just focus on the handbook today for a second. And what special tiers still left available in the awesome Kickstarter? There are tiers where you can get characters designed. You can come on the show and get a character designed that you get to keep and use in your books down the road, and you can pick whichever one of us you want to design that for you. There's a digital tier where you'll get the high-res digital files for it, and there is a physical tier where you will get an actual printed poster along with all the physical swag, which is really cool. It's the cheapest you're ever going to get me to design a character for you, if I'm being honest. But yeah, there's cool stuff available. I was meaning to get a retail tier together for teachers and stuff, and I have failed to get that done in time. If I can manage to somehow get it done tonight and make that available, I know I got a couple of people that would be interested in being able to get bundles for their classrooms, but I just haven't managed to get that together yet because I've been busy and I haven't been sleeping. I forgot I logged into the channel. What's up, Eddie Von B? Yeah, I figured it was you. But anyway, so we're going to focus on the handbook, and we're going to be rolling up a character. I have been making a list. We've got a Google Doc going of all the changes that we are going to make to the handbook and finalizing things. And Dadpool, I think, will be glad to hear this. I think I figured out a fix for the multiple dice always rolling in the middle of the table. Like if you've got 66, you're way more likely to roll in the middle of that section somewhere and get elemental control than you are to get on the very ends of it, because you can only roll a 6 one way. Yeah, I changed some things up. I've been trying to get creative over here, and I want to be able to advertise what we're pitching and stuff, and I was hoping this was going to work. We'll see how it goes.
I mean, I think I can probably do the little advertiser bit where it's like, who is the Roll for Hero Handbook for? How is it going to do this? And then you answer the questions in the same advertising like voice, you know?
Mhm.
Like, for instance, who's the role? Anyway, sorry, continue.
But as I was saying, I figured out, I think, the way to fix the problem with the multiple 6-sided dice without having to switch over to using like 10-sided dice or something. And instead of doing 66 like all at one time, instead I'm going to set it up in sections so you can roll like 1 or 2 d6, and that will pick which section out of that big table you roll on, and then each one of those sections will have 6 options. So you could roll 1d6 and say you go to section 5, and then you would roll another d6 and pick which one of those in section 5 you got. So that way it would be a whole lot more even, as long as your dice are relatively fair. Like, I mean, sometimes some dice are just going to roll a 6 no matter what, or a 1
Yeah.
or whatever. But
And to also answer a few of the questions, I am borrowing the wife's headphones because, again, I mentioned it before, I stream everything through my laptop, and then, of course, my iPad connecting to it, which, by the way, was like dead here. But yeah, no, essentially, my iPad connects to my computer. My computer is the reason why I have the camera, why I'm able to do all of this. And right now, my air conditioning unit, which is literally next to this blowing air at the moment, you would probably barely hear me because it sounds like I'm being attacked by Mother Nature herself. So I had to borrow the headphones because this is the only set of headphones in our home that actually has a microphone attachment that I could use to talk. And my wife, being the very girly girl that she is, and the woman that I married, she definitely loves the whole strawberry cow aesthetic when it was trending like a couple years ago. So yes, I very much am wearing Strawberry Cow headphones. My wife is a Pegasister, I believe. I'm not a brony. And yeah, that is where we are currently at the moment. I do this for you. I do this for all of you out there. You may mock me, but I know that.
It's a good look for you, says Eddie Von B.
Thank you, Eddie Von B. But anyways, who's the Roll for Hero Handbook for?
It is for anybody who wants to roll up brand new characters. It is for moms looking for interesting ways to entertain their kids. It is for creative kids looking to create universes of their own characters. It is for writers and artists looking to create new characters. It's for artists dealing with artist block that want something new to draw. All kinds of stuff. I absolutely love it. Not just because it's our show, not just because we do this already and I like the challenge of just getting random characters to roll up, random prompts, and then try and figure out how do you get all that stuff to work together. You know, we've gotten some crazy combinations.
Oh yeah.
And trying to figure out how to make, you know, plant control and a major transformation and, you know, body weapons all like fit together into one thing and make sense. And then you end up with this, you know, crazy plant monster that, you know, that can hide in plain sight and then transform into his normal scary looking monster self. And it's just crazy fun stuff. And I would not have come up with that. I wouldn't have come up with Meteor Mandy. We wouldn't have come up with Jupiter Jack. We wouldn't have come up with any of these characters that we've done if we hadn't have been pushed out of our comfort zone to do interesting new stuff. Now I got the image of D and Alien turning into Strawberry Cow to confuse the cultists. No. Who put this pink cow here?
Nobody. I
am. One handbook. I don't see the handbook itself as an add-on. Mr. No, out here asking the important questions. I am going to make a note of that right now, and I'm going to double check and make sure. I thought I put it in there, but it would not surprise me one bit if I forgot to. Handbook.
Oh yeah, trust me, there are tons of I think season 1 when we started the show definitely has the most, but like every character that we've done on season 1 had the potential to literally start off its own potential franchise. As Benjamin is stating, like Oak Fang, like he's actually, funnily enough, on the cover of at least the prototype handbook. Where is he at? Right over here, right next to little old me, you know. But like all the characters had such potential. But mind you, that's also because we have also taken the time to yip and yap and talk about the character, really get to like fall in love with it. And funnily enough, we have actually got to help somebody use, you know, we help somebody make a character for their comic book. Sure, the character's gonna die, but it's like got to use it for his comic book. Our show got to help somebody out with that, and let alone this could be the handbook that can help kickstart your entire comic book universe, whether you're making a fantasy universe filled to the brim with magic, wonders, and monsters of all kind, to the classic, you know, suburban style superheroes in the city trying to save, you know, the citizens from, you know, evil, you know, science and doctors and magic and all that other kind of stuff, to full-blown shooting to the stars, getting to see what kind of aliens you would be encountering. The whole point of the Roll for Hero Handbook is to ensure that you are going to create something with nothing more than dice and your imagination. And honestly, rolling up characters is a lot of fun. Like, this is the part where it sounds like a TikTok. Like, you know, right now I'm starting to sound like a TikTok ad. But to be honest, like legitimately, outside of this, there are times when I would genuinely just roll up a character just because it's fun.
There's been more than once that I caught myself doing that in the evening instead of doing more pages, which I should be doing to make money. And instead, I'm rolling up some random character and sending it to Esteban. And nobody else has seen these characters because I've just done it for fun and sent it to him. And yeah, I mean, I actually legitimately enjoy this. I think it's fun. And that's why I want to share it.
Oh, yeah. And not only that, I remember Fish, you know, had such fun drawing this one particular villain that he even told me, is like, hey, just use this one piranha-based supervillain as like your knockoff Spider-Man's like Lizard, and I'm like, tempting offer, very tempting offer. Most likely, I'm going to do that. Just don't know how yet, but I will see because these characters are just so much fun. The to correct hit like English is hard. Just ask Uncle Lee. I really want to get into pulp. It would be interesting for if Mister and then just kind of stop there. But yeah, for
Steve's point, that's another thing that I decided that we needed to add to the handbook was settings, which I didn't put in there originally. And
yes,
we're gonna have being able to roll for the setting that your character's in, and like I can't remember what I put in the note, but essentially the vibe. So like there's settings like doing a pulp hero type comic or a noir mystery or something like that. And then there was like the type of story that it's going to be, if it's going to be like science fiction or if it's going to be monsters or if it's superheroes or whatever. So you can mix those things together and, you know, have like a setting in the Wild West that happens to be futuristic or whatever, you know, and so I'm excited to see where that goes.
oh for sure. And don't get me. Listen, Benjamin. Like if I basically have, there are probably some characters that I have drawn that I am most definitely going to be utilizing for the world of my comic book universe, for the Grub, for Power Core, and all the other characters that I have in mind for it. For sure. This book
There's
is
a
like
lot that should end up in there for sure.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, outside of having a bald man, you know, waving his hands around talking about a weird bug themed superhero and a guy who makes comics who actually happens to work in the same construction zone, there's going to be, you know, other characters in there for sure. It's the hardest part for me when making a comic book universe is like I want to touch on so many other characters and topics, but you have to focus on one and then go from there. Sometimes I have to treat a comic book like a cartoon, and you're just going to have to like get the vibe of like, oh, these are the other characters. I don't really want to know about them until like later on.
What is up, brother? Good to see you, man. All the way from
Hey.
out of the planet, man. Good to see you. And I'm glad Dragon Gaming. It's really awesome that it's helped inspire you to create so many characters, and you be out there creating characters, man. I'm excited for you, man. Bill Treadwell sent me an email with a whole list of characters that he created off of Roll for Hero, and they are some cool characters. There are some interesting stuff. But if we're going to do this, we need to do this. So let's get to Rolling for Hero. Now, this isn't the updated version. I still need to do that, but I'm trying to get all of my final ideas down that we want to change in here before I go to changing it. So let's roll for our alignment, because I'm definitely changing that from hero villain table.
Oh yeah, I would basically say like, yeah, the alignment table is one thing, because alignment, depending on who you talk to, alignment can also mean essentially like whether or not you execute this type of thing. Okay, best way that I could say it is like you have Superman and then you have Batman. Superman's method of heroism is good, lawful, on par for the course. And if you have to push him, you have to push him, and he's going to do what he has to do. But then you have someone like Batman who goes on a more intensive edge, and it borderlines on villainy, so it's like that middle ground. And then you got the Punisher who full-blown does quote-unquote heroism by taking out the problem, if you will.
Yeah, that's your anti-hero territory. That's if you call them a hero or not is up to you. Though at this point he's been made out to be the hero for so long, I don't think it's really much anti anymore. He's just a murderous hero at this point.
Oh yeah, especially if you've seen him in Brand New Day. Yeah, I could see why.
Mm-hmm. So I got surprise, I got hideously evil.
All right, let's see. Because I've always gotten all the heroic types.
Yeah.
Would you look at that? What's number one? Hideously Evil?
Yeah, that's hideously evil. That's the worst of the worst. We're both.
I also got a villain, finally. I haven't done much villains recently. I've never done any villains.
The good guy I got was when I picked a good guy, because I've been doing all bad guys. At least for the Roll for Hero stuff, for the Kickstarter. Okay, now we're on to our motivation, which I'm looking forward to this one. Let's see.
Here, real quick, let's make this screen the more big one. Hold on a second. Let me just make the shift here. Not my screen. me just switch that real quick. There we go. So that way everyone else has the ability to see and to go from there. So I gotta write this down actually. Rolling up a character, not even being able to write down what needs to be written down. All right, so we have the following. Hideously evil. And what is your motivation, Fish?
I got a hideously evil adventure seeker, which scares the crap out of me because that's somebody who's just being as bad as they can be just for the sheer fun of being bad, just to see how far we can go with this. That's terrifying.
And I got a hideously evil profit seeker. So essentially, America's most wanted problems. Anyways,
See, that's almost scarier. I mean, that's neck and neck for scarier because people will do a lot for profit. Like people will do things they really don't like for profit. I don't know which one of those scares me more, but neither one of them is a nice guy.
you know what? This is true. This could be a villain that the Grub would have to face. If anything, this is actually on par for the course. I do have a villain. I happen to have a villain in the Grubs universe that I have yet to properly refine. So who knows? This guy actually might be the guy. We'll see. We'll see. But we have the origin table.
It's me.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's messed up.
Ooh, what did you get?
I got a retired hero chose me to take on his powers.
That could be extremely tragic.
Mm-hmm. That's messed up. And now I'm going to be as bad as I can possibly be and see how bad I can make things. Something had to go really bad in my life.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen, I got this one. I got a mad scientist experiment on me, granting me ...
Okay. There we go.
And
At
now
least that makes sense for turning you evil. Now we got the power set table. Let's see what powers we actually get. I got one major and one minor.
and I got one. Wow, 7 is the number for today. 3 minor powers.
All right, that can be pretty dangerous. Let's see here. Let's go on. None of us got skills, so we're going to go past the expert in ancient weapons, and we're going to go past the magical scholars and the scientists, and we're going to come down here to major powers where I've got one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
While we're here, I also should mention that on the Roll for Hero kicks for the new rendition of the Roll for Hero Handbook, I got to add some extra animals for the lists. So in that case, it's like you get to roll up like which list of animals you're then gonna roll from. So we got prehistoric, we got cryptids, we have aquatic, we have insects. We got all different variety of different animals. So that way you can create your very own potential, animal themed hero from nothing more than a dice roll. And my goal is to try to keep that list as generic as possible, because when I say like monkey, you can then just kind of be like, oh, I want to do this kind of monkey or that kind of monkey or lizard or something like that. Who knows? All right. What did you get, Fish?
I got control light as my major power.
Oh no. Okay, I can then see the philosophy of like, imagine this character, hideously evil. He was once a former sidekick, probably given the powers from his, predecessor. All of a sudden, he's like, I see the true light now. And all of a sudden, he just twists the philosophy of being the bright light, the beacon of hope, turns out to then be the beacon of destruction. The light is no longer a sense of safety, but is now a sense of warning. All right, now for me, it is minor powers. So I got to roll 3 of these, starting off with the first one. Ooh, that's a pretty good number. That's going to be, number 10. Advanced sense of smell. Okay, so far it's starting to look like a grounded type of heroic powers, or, not heroic, but it feels grounded enough, like, oh, I happen to have enhanced senses, maybe. We got 10, 13. Animal control, all right. I love what Dragon Gamer put over here. Villain, my reason? Do I need a reason? All this fighting, destruction, and death is all for the love of the game. Now stop talking and fight me! Make me bleed. Make my heart some excitement.
Cryptid list. That's a good idea.
Updated handbook.
That would be a good idea for what's the word I'm looking for? Y'all know the words. Y'all know the words that play role-playing games. When you get a secondary book that has new rules to add on to the base set.
Why am I forgetting? I know the word.
Yeah, like I know it's in my brain. I just can't think of it when I need it.
A source book? Secondary source book?
Like a supplement or
an second edition.
Yeah, but I don't think that's quite it, because that's usually changing the game. But anyway, an added handbook, an updated set of rules, like the space one that we want to do. That's all focused on outer space stuff and creating aliens, and have a new list of superpowers and stuff, and a new list of skills and things that you could get that would be more outer space. An expansion book, yeah, that's probably expansion's probably the word I'm looking for.
Yes, the extension or expansion. I feel like it's one of those two.
Carl Nowhere coming in with that good answer. Thank you, man. Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it. I don't know what I'm.
All right, so my appendix expansion. So for my character, I have my 3 powers. I have advanced sense of smell, animal control, and rapid healing.
I have control light and astral projection, which I'm thinking needs to be some kind of light form that you can generate to, like, leave your body and travel in. I think
kind of like it's like Mr. Negative, but different from like Doom.
Except light. Yeah, I'm thinking expansion book or a supplement book. Yeah, that's got to be. It's got to be it. I don't know why it's not clicking in my head. I don't know. I'm thinking of the ones from Road Wars game. I can't. It's not module. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to think of. But yeah, those are all good examples. You absolutely know what I'm talking about. Supplement, appendix, codex, expansion. He kind of sounds like a dog man of sorts.
Bark, bark, woof. All right, and now it is time for our modifiers.
Dum, dum, dum.
The thing that'll either make or break the character. And given the fact that we're hideously evil, they've been broken. So let's see what we got going on. All right, I got number 4. Wow, I actually got external device is what I got.
I got on the run. Then on the run. I'm surprised I didn't get my powers come from an external source, but I think they probably need to, like a lantern ring or something, because that would make sense that like something like the lantern ring got handed down from the hero to like his sidekick or whatever, and something in that process broke me and I went bad, and now the people in charge of that power are trying to stop me and get it back because I'm doing evil, evil in the name of. This is interesting. This is interesting. I think this is going to be fun. I don't know where we're going. I don't know how we're going to get there from here, but
it's somewhere. We could also create a backgrounds list, if you will. Kind of like in Dungeons and Dragons, there's actually like, different kinds of backgrounds, whether you're an urchin or a noble, a charlatan, like those kinds of backgrounds. We could try
Where you
implementing
came
something
from.
like
Mhm.
so then that way it also plays into it either plays well into it or it also kind of gives like a harsh turn being like how did the character get from here? Like imagine if somebody came from like a high societal noble like background, like maybe you're the son of a CEO, you happen to have everything lined up
And
for you, but then
he
all of
got
a sudden
experimented on by a villain. That would be a far different result than if you were a homeless person that got experimented on by a villain. Like you would have way different reactions, way different ability to seek help, to seek treatments, to develop devices to try and you know help ease the pain of what you're going through. It would be that could be interesting. That could be really interesting.
okay,
What was
hold on
your
a second.
modifier you got?
Mine came from an external. My powers come from an external device, and
Okay. I see why Bill's suggesting that we switch them then. But I could still use that if I want to. I can add that
I mean,
on.
keep. And again, this is also a really great example of the fact that these are broad strokes of paint, not interconnected
And
Lego
there's
blocks. Again,
suggestions. You can use as much or as little of each one as you want to. And I I really like the being on the run from the people that gave you your powers. I like the idea of like the Green Lantern Corps, for instance, coming after you because you're misusing the power. I like that idea a lot. I think that makes for a really interesting villain. Um, a Sinestro, if you will. But uh yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna figure something out with this. It's not gonna be lanterns related, even though it sounds like I'm absolutely got Sinestro.
let me see. Let me see. A hideously evil prophet seeker. Mad scientist experiment gave me those powers. Honestly, oh god, that is too perfect.
See, I'm not the only one getting ideas. I'm not the only one. Oh my god, you should have seen me on the show. What was it? Oh, what show was I on?
Were you on a Nope show or something like that, or no?
No, it wasn't on Nope
No.
Show. I was on a podcast. Fred Schwartz was on there with me recently, but um it wasn't Critical Affection that he's normally on with Sarah. It was something else that we both just. Oh, it was Ed Davis's show on Saturday morning, um, last Saturday, and you can see if you follow along to the right point, um, Ed and oh, what's his name? Dutch or something like that. Anyway, the two other guys on the show are working on a book together, and they are creating comics off of the names of songs. Like it's not about the song, but it's about the name of the song, like Copperhead Road or Freebird or whatever. Like you're taking that name and using it as an inspiration for your story and creating a story around that. And as they are talking and pitching it, and then they roll on into talking about this role playing aspect or something game that they're doing or card game or something, I can't remember. You can literally see me in the background be like, oh, I have an idea silently in the background. And then I try and play it cool. Like I didn't just freak out on camera. Um, but yeah, I absolutely did. You can see it. It's crazy. I had to like videotape it and send it to Fred. I was like, yeah, I think I was real subtle at hiding when I had an idea. But the cool thing about making so many creative friends like this is me and Fred, when I messaged him that and we got to talking about the idea, we sat there and talked out that
Ooh.
idea for probably an hour, and he asked me the best questions about my story idea. And I had pieces of this idea for a couple of years now, but hadn't really gotten anywhere. And then all of a sudden the title of this song suddenly made it click what his motivation was and why he was doing this. And I was talking that story out with Fred, and he started asking me really good questions about it. and like what were people's motivations and things, and why were they doing this, and what was my ultimate goal for the story, and where did I want it to go, and what was the message I wanted to say at the end of it. And this was all things that I had never considered up until this point, because it was just the kernel of an idea up until now. And as soon as he asked me these well thought out questions, I was like, oh, well, obviously the answer is blah, blah, blah. And now I have this really deep, rich lore built for this world because he was asking me really good questions. And I wouldn't have had that if I didn't have a good creative friend that's been studying writing for a long time. Really, really helped me make something really cool out of that. And y'all will probably see the book now because now it's stuck in my head. Maybe the external device that gives Mr. E's character their powers, maybe it's stuck in their head, says Benjamin. Ooh, like a brain tumor. It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Oh no. Okay. See, so in the world, this actually could be the best like Harry Osborn type of or like a Norman Osborn stand-in, if you will, for my universe of the Grub. So, for some context as to for my universe, my main character Mateo Maddox goes on a school field trip, Peter Parker style, and gets bitten by a genetically enhanced grub at a scientific facility known as Iron Pulse Industries. Right? The name Iron Pulse has kind of been like stuck around my head for a very, very long time. It was one of the most intriguing names for a villain corporation. So I need to find out who's like my Norman Osborn for this company. Now, obviously, to make him a dude is very much a typical thing. But what if I decide to go a different route and she experimented on herself? Hence, the science experiment gone wrong, or in this case, maybe the science experiment gone right, and she actually was able to obtain 3 special abilities. You know, her advanced sense of smell, being able to maybe smell the potential, you know, like pheromones amongst animals, and getting to see how that could be dictated amongst, you know, like how you can, you know, traverse your way through the battlefield or something like that. Then animal control. So now she's kind of like narrowing it down, and hence why she has like this whole zoo that's inside of like, you know, her building, because she had like basically this mini zoo with all these animals in it, which then leads to, you know, the Grub having other animal adjacent villains in the process. There's also like some other ones here and there, but like that makes a lot more sense. Plus, the image I had for Iron Pulse, I couldn't tell if I wanted to do like the heavyweights, like the, you know, like pumping iron kind of a deal, but Pulse, like a heartbeat, makes more of an intriguing logo design. So, because also in this world, Iron Pulse is a company. It's a proper company that does, you know, supposedly good by people. It's a corporation that helps to an extent. So I can imagine that maybe this company tries to hire the Grub and use him as a pawn for their schemes until eventually he kind of puts 2 and 2 together, being like, oh crap, I'm being used here. So it worked way too well. So finally glad I got that. Now the question is, how do I make her look? And unfortunately, for some apparent reason, I don't know why it's doing that. What's going on here? All right, hold up.
Hold up. How much
there
is
we
your
go.
book Roll for Hero on Kickstarter? It is $5 for digital, and what was it? 15, I think, with shipping. Because whoops, that's the wrong window. I do all my layers, all my tiers with shipping included, because I like to keep it easy on everybody. Let's just go down and look. It is
You know what?
$5 for the digital, and yeah, $15 for the print copy, and that is shipping included. And or 35 to get the mini comic and the handbook with the drawing pad that has the character sheets and stuff on it, and images to design your characters over, and a handful of dice and all of that stuff to go with it. So whatever floats your boat and meets the budget and the pocketbook, because I wanted to keep it affordable, because man, right now, I'm here to tell you, money's tight on everybody.
Oh
Some
yeah.
of us more than others.
All right. So the question is, how do I make this character? How do I make? What does she look like? It's the real question. Evil corporate Disney princess.
Cybernetic centipede anti-hero. I'm calling Cybug. Oh my goodness. Oh,
I
that's
wish.
wicked.
It's such a good name too. Sometimes I'm annoyed at the fact that there are people who come up with better things than me, and I'm like, I wanted to do that. Thanks.
So quickly. And they just kicking him out. Like, oh yeah, what if you did? What if you named it Deceptile? Yeah, that'd be cool. Wait a minute now. Come on. That's not fair.
That was supposed to be my idea.
I gotta take forever to come up with an idea like that.
No, for real. All right, let me see. All right. The external device could be a suit that she wears.
Oh yeah, man. I'm telling you, Rick, and I know you're going through it. How you feeling, by the way, man?
Ooh, brunette with green eyes. Love the thoughts. Let me see. Let me see. We are going to just do a bit of that.
Deadpool has a gift for names, says Bill. You're absolutely right with that.
It's also sometimes the simple names too that you really like. That really tends to hit harder. Where it's like, it took me forever trying to create like an elaborate roundabout way to kind of make a name, but then they just go, oh, and they just shoot a name out there, and I'm like, how dare you make that sound so easy? Come on, man. I'm over here struggling, and you just had this name just on the ready.
But to go to Carl Nowhere's comment there, best compliment you can give another creator is, I wish I'd thought of that. Absolutely. But also,
100%.
man, other creators can give you the best compliments because they can compliment you on specific things that they really liked about what you did. And those specific compliments to me mean so much more than just a vague, like, oh man, that was awesome. But when you really get into like, man, that character was so cool. Like Big Tim that was in here earlier, his character Gorilla My Dreams is freaking hilarious. It is the world's smartest gorilla as a detective in a world full of superheroes. So it's a gorilla in spandex and all this stuff. But he's hiding in plain sight in a trench coat and a hat. But he's still a gorilla in spandex with like a spandex mask on his face and stuff. And he looks both ways before taking off his trench coat and exposing, ta-da, I'm actually knockaround guy. You know, like if Peter Parker walked around all day with his Spider-Man mask and gloves on underneath his street clothes and then looked both ways before pulling it off. Like, dude, you're the only one wearing a Spider-Man mask. Like, it's pretty clear it's you, Pete. No, like the meta level of that joke was so beautiful to me. I can't get over it, and I brag on it all the time. But
I love
compliments I've gotten like that meant the world to me.
I love what Bill Treadwell said here.
What?
Yes, Dragon Gaming evil. No, Bill over here saying yes, Dragon Gaming evil corporate Disney princess who got her powers from visiting Disney World or Euro Disney. Listen, I live in the Orlando area. I live 10 minutes away from Disney Springs right now, my guy. So that is hitting a bit too close for home, literally. And I'm 100% for it. What about a villain inspired by the Pied Piper? Not a bad idea. Honestly, I actually wanted to do like a batch of like, I wanted to do fairy tale characters as superheroes. I think I could make that into a fun video series that could still touch on like something public domain, but be its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that would be really cool. Probably get to do like maybe every video I do about like one character, I could do 3 videos for, whether they're a fantasy kind of character, classic superhero, or like a sci-fi rendition. Because that could be really interesting, getting to see, you know, how you could take one classic character but then put 3 different spins on them.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Because I really need to get back into making videos again. It's just every day I've been getting back from work. It's been it's been slow since tourism has died down in the Orlando area. So not as much business and work. So I'm doing a lot more of the tasks than I should be doing, and it's
Yeah,
just
where are you at,
exhausting me.
Dragon Gaming? Why aren't you out there, like revitalizing the Florida economy right now? Come on, dude. Everybody should be out there taking part, helping out.
Okay, but I do like the idea of the Disney princess element. So, you know, okay, okay. The name has to sound intriguing. Iron Pulse. Oh, this could be like a Okay, interesting. Ah, thank you, love. You're welcome. Hey, hon. So I basically rolled up an evil Disney princess. What would you name her?
What are her abilities?
Oh, I hate sense of smell. She can control animals, and she has rapid super
Apparently she
healing.
has a sense of smell. She can tell when the cookies are burning in the oven. She can tell when somebody's wearing too much cologne.
Too much cologne. Cookies are burning in the oven, Fish says, because of the sense of smell.
Oh. I really don't know. I don't know why. Like, my first instinct was like something like a vampire. I don't know why. Like a vampire werewolf type. But
Feather Guardians, a group of
as
archers.
far
Cool.
as name goes, I don't know. I'll get back.
Took me a while to
Well,
learn that negative
feature-
critiques can sometimes be more helpful than positive ones. Man, you ain't lying, Summer Bandit. Some of the most hurtful comments I've ever gotten have turned around and been some of the best advice I ever got. And I turn around and give it all the time. Not to be mean, but like, really helpful. Snow White becomes Purple Rain. You should make heroes inspired by Dolly Parton and Tim Curry. Oh man, that broke my heart.
That hurt.
They both Tinder smell. Those both hurt my feelings, but Dolly Parton really crushed me because, man, I don't think we are ever going to see a star again that gave as much back to the world as selflessly as she has. I don't think we're ever going to see another millionaire or billionaire give back as much as selflessly and sacrificially as she did to lift people up, just to be a blessing, not to get anything out of it, not to curry favor before they did something terrible, but just because she loved people and wanted to be a help and not just be in it for herself. I mean, she took her whole family along, gave them all jobs. The amount of money she's invested in hospitals and stuff over the years, forget the reading programs and stuff that have helped millions of kids gain literacy. She's amazing.
Yeah, honestly, I had to figure, since this kind of ties into what I'm about to say here. So, like, I live in Orlando, one of the most heavily tourist regions in all of Florida. I went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is essentially like the Orlando over there. I really got to figure out, what are they doing, knowing that Dolly Parton is officially gone, because she has Dollywood over there. That's her whole theme park, which is one of the best theme parks I've ever been to, ever. Like, hands down. Like, yes, Disney's supposed to immerse you, put you in all this, but Dollywood is it's a fun, beautiful experience. My parents got a good kick out of it. They're not like thrill junkies like we are, but there's a lot of shows. It had a lot of like beauty behind it. It was a very, very gorgeous time, just to be there. It was also the time that I went, like, we ended up going to Dollywood because it was also the last time I was going to be a brother and, a brother-in-law, and now I was going to be an official uncle, because that was when my brother, it was a couple months before, my first niece was born. So, that theme park.
How brothers and uncles work.
Listen, I got two. I have the excuse.
The Royal Beasts suggests Dragon Game.
Ooh, I like that. Because I wanted to say like the Pulse Princess or whatever to really tie into the Disney Princess, but Royal Beast, Dragon Gaming. That is the name of my Norman-esque, not Osborne type character who owns Iron Pulse Industries, the royal beast, the leader of the Forbidden, which is supposed to be like my Sinister Six, but except they're all animal themed. But yeah, all to say that they had to do something knowing that she's gone. But yeah, that hurt. That hurt. Just
Mhm.
knowing that. I can only imagine she's a very lovely lady, in and off screen and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's the thing. Like, I like her music. Okay, I mean, I didn't, and I came to country music much later in my life, so like I didn't grow up loving her music and stuff like some people did. I grew up cringing at it and didn't didn't come to like it until later in my life. But I loved her because of because of how much she gave back to the world. Man, she was amazing. And I have been worried about this since her husband passed. Not not just the cliche of, the love of her life died, so she's got to go too, but just age, being, your partner of your whole life being gone, um taking care of your partner to the, neglect of taking care of yourself, which is part of what, got my mom, was taking care of my stepdad with his dementia, took all the priority. And, you know going to going to the doctor for her tummy troubles didn't seem like a big deal until you find out that those tummy troubles are ovarian cancer. And oh, too late to do anything now. By the time we find it, it's too late. It is. It is a tough call, as many of you know. I'm terrible at names, says Sniper Panda. Now, you don't get to walk around with a name like Sniper Panda 92 saying you're terrible at names. Like, you got one right at least. I've sat in character creation on BG3 all day because I couldn't settle on a name. Now, not being able to settle on one, I absolutely can feel you there.
Oh yeah, actually, speaking of BG3, my wife was actually playing that last night, or she started like a new campaign, so she actually got to play as a Dragonborn paladin. It was actually the same Dragonborn that she ended up playing in a friend's former campaign. So the dragon's name is Sephoria Pendragon, and she is a Dragonborn paladin in the Baldur's Gate game, and she's going to be going from there. But in the original game that she played her character in, the game was called Land of Misery. Our friend who was the DM was a killer, like horror style DM, creating his own monsters and all that other kind of crazy nonsense. He was really really good at it. Really made awesome puzzles for that game. And she was like, her character was like freaking like pretty tankish for a ranger, mind you. And fifth edition D&D is like, it's a little bit iffy, but she still did fairly well. And then eventually she leveled up to a barbarian. That character was a lot of fun. She wanted to romance her Dragonborn character with my elf paladin, but then, one of our other friends had like, this other very intricate character. It was a whole thing. But yeah, trust me, settling on a name was always hard. But if you come up with a few cool names here and there, you can then distribute the names to other type of characters. If you have like Swordmaster 69 and you have, you know, Swordmaster 68, you at least got two different characters you can go for, or something like that. I don't know. But I actually like where I'm going with this. I'm definitely going for the Evil Queen vibe, for sure. It's like if the Evil Queen from Disney and Iron Man had merged together, essentially.
I'm trying to think, what is this light form going to be like? Sniper says, I've created a Dragonborn Paladin based on if Draco from Dragonheart was a Dragonborn. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I would say probably light constructs because it wasn't. It was it was light powers, and then what was the other ability?
Astral projection.
Astral projection.
So I'm thinking like, he can leave his body as this form of light. I mean, I'm also thinking he could have like light constructs and laser beams and stuff as well. But I'm almost thinking like, what if the good guys use this power to create light and stuff, and he uses it to like absorb it and steal it and create darkness? Maybe like he's the anti version of it, using the same power, just using it backwards. Using it to destroy instead of give.
Ooh, like somehow the power ends up shifting when it goes to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That
Or
could be
like
very, very interesting.
like a Jedi turning Sith. Like something in his heart breaks at some point, probably losing his uh his teacher, his mentor. I imagine could probably be what broke him, or realizing that there was no justice for what happened to him, or something like that.
Oh, for sure. Like maybe this mentor was like a father figure, like the close thing that this guy has to a father, and maybe the order that essentially used, or kind of like, again, let's use Green Lantern here for a solid example because that's what it kind of sounds like. It's kind of like if the order, like these guardians, if you will, essentially stated like, we really can't do anything about this. This is out of our jurisdiction, even though they could help. He's now taking that power, maybe that sense of like he wants a sense of vengeance, but it goes so further than that. He eventually loses himself in vengeance in now wanting it to be revenge, and he's now trying to go, against it. But now the heroes are on their own trying to take him down, like something like that. Perhaps Uncle Fish, your character, is the nightmare bringer, while they normally bring light to dreams.
That's a cool idea.
And then we got an abyssal villain, says Dadpool.
Let's see. All right. Change that.
Yeah, I'm basically making an iron evil queen.
I'm
It's like
trying
if
to
I took the
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say no, you're good. It's like if I took the evil queen, like I said it before, if I took the evil queen from Snow White and just converted her and gave her an Iron Man suit, this is kind of what it looks like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It is actually not bad. I was trying to go for the Sam Raimi Green Goblin kind of vibe, giving like the ribbed effect, maybe adding like little tech bits here and there might appeal to that to an extent. We'll see. Anyways, you were saying?
I'm trying to think of the form that this guy's going to take. I have two characters from my past, from like high school, that I've wanted to find a way to reinvent, and one of them was this character I had, Killjoy, who was basically like flaming shadows, and the darker it got, the more powerful he got, and the more twisted and stuff. He was like an evil flaming Joker made out of shadow kind of character, and was just like an evil, like wants to just watch the world burn kind of guy. And then I had a much more sinister character that was like Pastor Light or something. I can't remember what I called him, but he was a traveling preacher who was like a suit around a beam of light. Like he was wearing this bright white suit with gloves and shoes and the whole 9 yards. And then out of the neck hole was just a beam of light shooting up as far as the eye can see. And he was just this like being of light in this suit, who was a false preacher and would just go around and lead people astray and bring all these people to him and, feed off of their energy and stuff. Um, and I've been wanting to find a way to use both of them, and they both kind of would fit in a way, but I like the false prophet aspect of the preacher guy, um and him using everything wrong to lead people astray. So I kind of don't want to lose that aspect. But I'm thinking maybe maybe this is the time, maybe this is when he gets his comeuppance finally. because the being hideously evil and an adventure seeker, honestly, that fits perfectly to the character that Killjoy was in high school. Um, he was just evil for the sake of evil.
All right. I really like where this is. And one of the more simple design elements here, for me at least. Should I? Iron Queen could have the Green Goblin's colors. It would just be green and purple. That's the thing with comics back in the like 60s, 70s, and stuff like that. They all had essentially the CMYK, which I didn't realize that K meant key for coloring, so that made a lot more sense now. But it was a lot of CMY, a lot of cyan, magenta, yellow. So the colors were very, very restrictive at the time. Hence why most villains in comic books are always portrayed as like green, purple, or some variation of that. So as much as I would love to do maybe the Green Goblin colors, I would want to try to do something else from that just to really make it like its own thing. Mind you, this is supposed to be like the CEO who owns the company who also happens to be the villain kind of a deal. And I like the fact that she's like completely covered, has the queen vibe. Now, maybe I could just give her a cape just because I can. She's a bit flary. She's out there, right? Shadow Sparrow ever fit into a character / purpose?
Could. Absolutely could. That's one of the characters that I rolled up a long time ago on long time ago in a galaxy far away on School of Fish back in the day. Okay, wait a second. Which way is this going?
Now, I should probably, I should probably ditch the skirt as much as I want to use that.
I gotta look it up.
As much as I want to use the skirt to give that regal queen-like vibe, she's also got to combat a bug-based hero with a lot of athletic abilities. Green Goblin colors would be a bit on the nose for Iron Beast Princess if she is to fight the Grub. This is true, and I mean, trust me, even with the Grub, I had to try not to use red because it's so easy to use red, and that looks basically like Spider-Man. All I have to do is just put the blue where most of the white is on his suit. Black and royal blue, then. Ooh, the royal blue. Makes sense, hence royal. All right. Now that I get... All right. Let's see how this is going to turn out. Sometimes simplicity is just enough, and it'll help you not want to rip your hair out when you're trying to draw a comic about this character. That is the one thing I really have to tell myself a lot, where it's like, the design looks so simple, but then I realize that's really going to help me in the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, the simpler you make your character, the easier it is to draw. But you don't want to make them too simple. Like, that's the reason why everyone loves it. Like, for me, Superman's design is so iconic. It's so hard not to be like, how can I not make a knockoff of that and still make it my own character? It's really hard because the Superman suit is so simple. You know what I mean? Same thing with like Spider-Man. It's a bit more intricate, but Spider-Man and Superman had time on their hands. That's why their characters are really, really iconic, and it's really hard to, not use them as the, the pillar, the literal conceptual idea of what a superhero is. You know what I mean? Obviously, it always makes sense, says Oz Dragon 7523.
7523, because that's the year he was born.
Whoa! What were the presidents like back then, man? They party hard? Here's a bit of an odd question. What are your thoughts on using historical figures in fiction? Because there was a comic book I read a while back, written by Butch Hartman. It was called The 3 O'Clock Club. Essentially, it was about these kids that basically fought these weird, threats, and they had an hour to put them, through this entire portal. And then once the hour was done, everyone lost their memories except for the kids who fought the monsters. And they all had like these wacky and weird weapons and whatnot. And it turns out one of the characters was like this immortal who lived a very long time. So much so that he was actually friends with Abraham Lincoln. And like they tried playing up, something from that dynamic to an extent. So like, what are your thoughts on like using historical figures in comics? Do you think it's like, is it odd? Is it strange? Do you think it's a bit too much on the nose? Like,
I think like anything, it has to be done right. And I think particularly if you're using an important political figure or an important historical figure, like it really needs to be done right. Like I don't think you should just go willy-nilly with, say, Harriet Tubman or Sitting Bull, or there's lots of people from history that I don't think you should just go willy-nilly with, and put Sitting Bull and Harriet Tubman on a team of monster hunters that go around, hunting Bigfoot and uh, Jack the Ripper in England. I think you need to be careful with how you use them and use them respectfully sometimes. And then sometimes I think also some characters like Benjamin Franklin get reused a lot, and so I think you need to either have a really good idea or wait until you do. Like just another, you know, Benjamin Franklin, figured out how to go to the future with everything else. Oh, what does he think of this? It could use some more refinement. But when done right, I think it can be really interesting. I've seen some that are really cool. And I definitely like when historical stuff gets brought in to stories and makes it richer and, plays with what was really going on at the time.
yeah, because I always found that to be a really interesting factor that personally I haven't really like thought about in terms of. All right, hold on. Dragon Gamer over here says depends on the person from history you want to use. My rule of thumb is to put respect on the historical figure, do your research, and true to be as close to the person as they were. Interesting. Unless you're the guys that made that one America the movie type thing where they basically made George Washington, wield dual like chainsaws popping out of his gauntlets or whatever, and then they had him, be friends with Abraham Lincoln, only then for him to. It was one of the weirder like 2D animated films, but it was like
that kind of stuff is usually just designed to be, offensive and get a rile out of people, and and that's a way to go. But I don't know. I've seen so many cartoons and stuff where you go back and Benjamin Franklin is now the electronics wizard or whatever, or Thomas Edison or something. And I think it needs to be done right. It needs to be interesting. I think the story should be able to stand up on its own without the historical figures presence. And if it does that, then cool, go nuts. Um, and like Dragon Gaming says, as long as you're putting respect on their name, like I haven't read it, but I feel like Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer is treats her with some respect. I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't read the book, but from what I've heard about it, it feels like it's not being insulting to her in the process and kind of adding to it with a fun, crazy storyline. But it's all about how it gets done in the end, because that's the difference between an awesome story that goes on to last forever and, you know, some silly ripoff.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Historical figures in fiction is tricky. I like what Quantum Leap did, like Sam Bucket transports inside the body of JFK's killer, but couldn't undo what was done. So in a weird way, it's like he had to reenact the situation, or else history is like doomed essentially. That's interesting. I don't know why I had that. I don't know why that was brought up to me. I just that honestly was a random spur of the moment question, because I realized that there are some people out here that do utilize historical figures in their fiction, like
Oh, yeah.
like some of the most popular like leaders or some of the most fun characters, like Ben 10, Optimus Prime. They met George Washington in their respective universes. Like I
Mhm.
think in Ben 10, he ends up going back to the past and meets George Washington, only for George Washington to then create the plumbers, which is supposed to seal the leaks of aliens and the supernatural. Hence why they have, the plumber agency to begin with in Ben 10. Why Optimus Prime met, George Washington, I don't know. But I think that was always interesting to kind of see how they meet some historical figures. There was another, I think it was like an animated pilot for Screw On Head, which was a Mike Mignola creation, and it was literally about a robot whose head screws onto different bodies, and essentially he actually works for Abraham Lincoln. And basically it's this robot fighting these other like supernatural threats during like the early stages of America, or like during Abe Lincoln's reign type of thing.
Paul Revere, a RoboCop centaur.
Yep, that was in America the Motion Picture. I think that's what it was called. It was one of the weirdest and wackiest like movies ever. I'm surprised that we don't make enough movies about the American folk characters. Like, imagine how hard a John Henry movie can be, or a Johnny Appleseed movie. Like, come on, there is so much potential there. Ain't nobody seeing it. I tell you what.
Yeah, it's all about what they think is going to bring in money and box office, or be too much trouble, or yada, yada, yada.
At least back in my day, we had trashy films, but at least we know we had fun watching said trashy films. I grew up with Spy Kids, dang it. And those are made on legitimate shoestring budgets, is what I'm trying to say.
They have got to be some of the, to me, they are some of the worst made movies. Like, just watching them made me want to claw my eyes out for the way they put the graphics together and stuff, and integrated the CGI. And I couldn't stand it. But I also wasn't a kid at the time. And I know, like, He-Man didn't have the best production values, but it fired my imagination when I was a kid and led to a lifetime of creativity. So, I'm not knocking it for those that enjoy it. I'm just saying, like, it didn't have the best quality. He-Man didn't either. Um, but it, like that Shark Boy and Lava Girl, um, those kind of things, man, they got my kids so excited and made them want to tell stories and make up ideas, and that's cool, man. I'm grateful to those movies for that, even if I couldn't stand watching them.
Oh, that's actually a really, yeah, for sure. Also, Dragon Game also said this, that even in Invincible, the immortal was essentially Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he was the president at some point in time that's actually funny. how many times has Superman, Bugs Bunny, and Mickey Mouse or whatever, terminated Adolf? Too many times. People wanted to undo stuff. Pretty much. Yeah, the last, besides John Goodman's movie of Paul Bunyan's movie I've seen was a sci-fi horror movie. Interesting. Yes, we need the return of B movie features. Spy Kids 3 Game Over was my jam. Dragon Gaming gets it. Spy Kids 3 Game Over was the movie. I don't know what it is. It was definitely the fact that it had the most superhero vibe of all time. It was such a, like, again, we knew that it was like cheesy, like weird CGI. Like if I watch it now, I'm gonna be like, that's weird. But seeing like the CG effects, the suit designs in that game or in that movie were so interesting. I was like, man, that's like low key is some of the best video game design suits. Like like again, the whole thing was supposed to be set in the video game world. Best suit designs I've ever seen. I wish I had that suit growing up as a kid, man. That was like one of the best super suit designs ever. Plus, the actor who played Juni Cortez in the film, I always wanted his cool haircut all the time. And when my aunt used to cut my hair, I'm like, make it like Juni Cortez. It was so funny. Yeah, big time. Yeah, Screw on Head. It was awesome. I really wish there was something like that again. But then again, you have to play into a lot of historics and stuff like that and do a lot of historic fiction.
I don't remember Time Squad Sniper Panda. When was it and where was it? Like, was it on the web? Was it on PBS?
Time Squad. Wait, wasn't that like a show? Wasn't it the show about like three kids who got a history book that can send them back in time? Because that sounds really familiar. It's been a minute since I've seen. Yeah, it has to be some kind of a PBS show.
What was it? The Magic House or the Magic
Tree House?
The anime book where they opened the book and then the house flew off and they would go on these adventures through history. It was like early anime, like it was airing here in the 80s. I want to say it had like a real Christian slant to it.
It was the wait. I think I know what you're talking about. It was definitely a Christian series for sure because they always kept going back to the Bible times, trying to
like there was a robot that would like explain the message.
Yes.
Time Squad was on Cartoon Network. Little kid, robot, muscle dude in black and white Cyclops outfit. That sounds familiar.
That it does indeed. But yeah, the one that you're talking about, I forgot what that one was called. Because I do remember that, but because I remembered watching it at my grandparents' place. Because again, family of pastors, so you're bound to watch at least one of them. Yeah, a space guy, robot, nerdy history kid go through time on cartoon. Yeah, okay. They go back to fix history. Interesting. Man, time travel is always I never touch time travel. That is always the weirdest. You have to. It's either you have to be scientifically accurate, or you got to be really loosey goosey with it and just accept the inaccuracies.
Well, like you've got to either be really detail focused and be willing to go into the weeds, trying to figure things out, and figure out like what are you going to do and what are the consequences going to be and what's going to happen when they do this or that, and or like you said, just be hot tub time travel with it and just it doesn't really matter.
Or Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
See, I argue Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is really well thought out, and they use time travel. I think personally, they understand the time travel that they're doing better than anybody else and make the best use out of it is just about any show or movie I've ever seen. Like using it to their advantage to go back and set up stuff to help get out of jail at the end, get everybody out of jail and like steal his dad's keys and leave him in the police station and all this stuff. Like they figured out how to use it and use it well. Like the anomaly was Edgar Allan Poe wasn't dark. He was like full of joy, pink house, giggling. They had to go back and make him gloomy again. Oh, that stinks. That sucks. We gotta go back and ruin his life, okay? See, in this version, like, his beloved survived and didn't get like tuberculosis or whatever. And, and he doesn't go on to create, the mystery genre. And we don't have police procedural shows. And there's not 9 million seasons of Law and Order SVU. So we got to go back and change that. Make sure his beloved Lenore dies. So he's all
Brutal.
gloomy again.
Very brutal.
Gotta do it for the Olivia Benson. What else will Ice-T do for 30 years?
Anything else?
It's so funny to me to like go back and rewatch like Break Into Electric Boogaloo as I do, and see like Ice-T in his like half naked cyber ninja outfits and stuff when he's rapping on stage with all these straps around him with studs all over them and whatnot, and trying to be all hard and scary in his ninja stripper outfit, and then go back and see him on Law and Order SVU. I'm like, come on, man. It's a little hard to take you seriously now.
I don't know what it is with that show. I remember my sisters had. I think they still have the. Like, they love that show. Like, when I had a Peacock subscription, they were all over that. I was like, what is up with this show? Like, what makes it that intriguing to watch and stuff like that?
It's really weird because it's one of those shows that I will put on all day too and listen to in the background. And I don't know why. I used to think that it was just the sexual aspect of it, the titillation of, ooh, these people are doing naughty things and, getting caught for it. And for a long time, I thought it was just popular because they're sort of giving the bad guys an instruction manual how to do bad things. I definitely think shows like that have led to a lot of the increase in strangers doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing to people. I don't want to get us in any trouble on any platforms or anything for saying particular words, but I think it's definitely shows like that have definitely, I think, just like I think murder shows have led to more people looking at, maybe I could get rid of my my wife, instead of having to pay her alimony or something. Like, I think that kind of stuff has desensitized us and made us think, well, surely I'm smarter than that guy was. And, I won't make that easy mistake that they wrote into the script. And just my 2 cents. But
No, and that's a valid 2 cents as well. I mean, it's funny. I saw this one some post. They always tend to read like these little mini like newspaper strip style comics or like online comedy comics.
mm-hmm.
And one of them was like, you see this edgy kid, like looks super edgy, very emo, and he's like, just leave me alone, mom. I'm just gonna be in my room. Don't bother talking to me. And then he's watching anime, which most animes are all about the power of friendship and uniting with other people to help you become better and being stronger. Don't get me wrong, you're still gonna have your other shows that are dark and twisted and whatever, but usually most animes are all about trying to be uplifting, being positive influence, so on and so forth. And then you have the mom who looks sweet and innocent and is listening to a crime podcast about like people, going off and doing horrible things and whatnot. And it's kind of like, it's very ironic in a weird way.
Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's like rain.
Don't you know it's a bit ironic there?
It's like rain on your wedding day there. Oh, do you got your galoshes?
Just cracked my freaking elbow. I'm Anyways. Bum. All right. We're just gonna add some lines, make it look unnecessarily detailed. It's
You
just
can
so that
go
I
as
can have it.
detailed or as little detailed as you want. It's your world. The best
It's
way to
my
use
super
fictional
villain.
characters in a fiction is using the in their time or in the time of the creator as inspiration is better, Rick and Morty style. Yeah, I can see that. Ah, a fly, squish bug. Uh-oh, messes up the future for everyone. Goes back in time to stop himself, and more of him keep popping up to stop the events unfolding. That was literally an episode. Yeah, I could see that.
Of like Family Guy, I remember they always kept going back in time trying to like stop this one event from happening, and then they did one final moment where they go back in time to the right moment and then stop the whole thing and whatnot.
That was a
All right.
Treehouse of Horror episode too with Homer. He kept going in this time machine and changing things, and then he would go back and try and fix it. And every time he would try not to step on that bug or something, he would step on the fish coming out of the primordial ooze to evolve, or something. And then eventually he just loses it and goes and starts smashing everything, and eventually just gives up and is like, that's close enough.
Oh well. All
He leaves
right.
one world because everything seems perfect, and then he asks, Marge is making breakfast, and like there's sausage and eggs and everything on the table, and he's like, Marge, my dear, where are the donuts? And she's like, what are donuts, homie? And he screams and takes off and goes back and changes history. And then the kids look out the window and it starts raining donuts, and they're like, oh no, it's raining again. And he left literally the perfect world. And oh gosh, I'd be dead if it rained donuts.
I think
I would
half
have
the world's
died a
population
happy,
would.
happy fat man.
Yeah. I will say, I think out of all desserts too, since you have mentioned donuts, I think out of all desserts, I think donuts definitely got to be one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah,
Like
donuts are
there,
good.
there are people out there who are like, I like ice cream. I like, like what is like a dessert
I
that isn't
love
a
ice
candy
cream.
kind? My wife loves ice cream. I'm not an ice cream guy. Listen, I will enjoy a cookies and cream, vanilla, chocolate, whatever flavor ice cream. I like ice cream, but I'm not like I won't default to ice cream as my favorite sweet treat. I'm a sucker for a donut. I like me a donut. I
Oh,
like the varieties of said donuts. I am a proper fat man. Okay.
I love donuts. Donut wouldn't be my like go-to number one dessert. I am just making my fat self so hungry. Um, but I am absolutely a baked good guy. Like I love my baked goods, cake, pies, what have you. I am definitely on board with baked or fried breads as my main treat, dessert, etc. That is my favorite right there. And donuts would definitely be in that. I just recently found out, and I didn't know this. I noticed that like some places have much better donuts than others, and some donuts from cheaper places would get like real greasy and oily later in the day, when they started to get a little stale or whatever. And I never really thought about why that was. It turns out the good donuts, the good places, use solid fats like lard to fry them in, that turn
Oh.
liquid at heat. But when they get back to room temperature, they dry solid. They harden. And when you fry donuts in that, you get a nice protective layer, a thin layer of protective hard fat around them that helps keep them fresher longer and keeps them from getting all gooey and drippy later on in the day. And where the ones that are fried in like peanut oil or corn oil or whatever will get oily and greasy as it goes on and get stale quicker. And that's freaking brilliant. I didn't even know that was an option. Mr. Nope is my man over here. He says pie. Now, see, I got a story about pie. Everything changed fundamentally. I have been a cake man, cake or brownies, my whole life. Been sharing my number one slot on my favorite treats, cake and brownies. Absolutely loved everything else. I will tear up an ice cream sandwich. Don't get me wrong, but like cake and brownies were my top tier, all time favorite. And then I had a heat stroke, and I spent the whole night in my underwear trying to run outside in the front yard to dig in the ground with a shovel looking for pie because I had a heat stroke and I got brain damage. And my ex wife wouldn't take me to the doctor because then they would find out how long she left me without taking me to the doctor, and she didn't want to lose her nursing license. So she just left me like that. Ever since the heat stroke, pie has been my absolute number one favorite. I could eat a piece of pie every single day and be happy. I would die of the diabetes, but I would be happy doing it. And I've always been a more like cake bready type of guy, but pie absolutely changed that day. I always liked it, but it wasn't my top tier, and it is now 100%. Just a weird story. There's a delicious recipe called potato. Oh my God, spud nuts. Oh, brother, you want to get that man testifying, brother? You want to hear a tale, your beauty personified, brother? Let me tell you the story of the spud nut. The spud nut is the superior donut. You think you think you've seen something with a cronut, brother. Oh, let me open your eyes to the light, brother. You've just been seeing in black and white up until this point. You have not seen colors like purple and green until you have had a spud nut. Now, you might not actually like it that much. I could see it being a acquired taste, perhaps, because they do taste a little bit different than a regular donut. But I freaking love spud nuts because they had them in my hometown growing up, and they were right by the junior high and stuff. So like you could walk from school and go get some on lunch and whatnot. Man, freaking love spud nuts. Oh my gosh. Oh man, go.
Got fish acting like the. Remember this one time, my dad. The phrase. This was one of the funniest phrases somebody told my dad, because this is exactly how you're acting. This one time an ice cream truck went by into our neighborhood. I'm like, oh, hey, Dad, there's an ice cream truck. My dad's like, what? Literally, it started driving a little ways down. My dad took me into the car, drove straight down, and like our neighbor saw it and was like, yo, Pastor Jay, you looking like a fat man. You look like a fat kid running after that ice cream truck. It was so fun. You right now are acting like the proper fat man, just describing heaven in the form of a spud nut.
Oh, man. I love them. They're good. They're good. And I mean, like I said, they do taste just a hair different. Like there is a slight difference in the potato flour flavor, but I love them, man. I love them. They're good stuff.
Now I got to see if the wife can make those.
Oz Dragon says, I mean, I like ice creams, but pastries are the best thing we can eat as dessert. Yeah, like, and see, I love all the bready stuff from like, a flaky croissant to a Danish to cakes to whatever. Man, I just absolutely love that stuff. I love me some ice cream, but yeah, it's second tier compared to the bready stuff. Goes good with it. Let's see. Dragon Gaming says, I love ice cream and pizza. M&Ms are my go-to quick snack. Oh, I'll tear up a peanut M&M now. Now, as a child, I thought childish things. As a child, I thought, why do you want to put this horrible thing in the middle of my beautiful M&M? But as a man, as a grown man who has come to eat on steak now and not suckle on milk any longer, I have learned the beauty that comes
Preach it.
from the salty peanut wrapped in the beautiful chocolate, all put in a nice candy shell to protect your hands and your pockets and your such alls. I could tear up a peanut M&M every day. Man, I love them things. That's part of the reason I don't eat them anymore, because I'll eat too many of them.
What's a spud nut? A spud nut is a donut.
Would fruit in space always stay fresh? It would freeze, so I would think it would stay fresh. What were you saying?
No, because one of the commenters here is saying, like, what's a spud nut? I'm French. Sorry. A spud nut is just a
It is
donut.
a donut made with potato flour. And I don't know why they did that. I don't know if it was like a Depression era thing and potato flour was cheaper or what. But Spudnut is a franchise. It is a restaurant, a donut shop that makes donuts with potato flour. Used to be fairly common in like South Arkansas and some of the South. I'm eating peanut butter pecan ice cream butter pecan ice cream right now.
Oh,
Have
with the
you
Rocky
ever
Road. Oh,
heard of monkey bread, son? Woo, man.
I feel like we need to get like that one type of piano if you're going. Let me tell you something. In the name of all that is holy and good, in the book of Thessalonians.
Blood sugar in the name of the sugar, in the name of the too much sugar, in the name of the cinnamon, in the name of the burnt pan. Let me tell you about the monkey bread. Sticking to your fingers. Oh, I can feel it now. I can feel it on everything I touch. Oh, it's on the couch. It's on the light switches. Everywhere the kids have been, you can see the results of the monkey bread. Oh, man. That's some good stuff. For my family, a spicy spaghetti recipe, a chocolate cake with homemade peanut butter frosting. Oh, man. And I made my own version of homemade chicken dumpling soup to the family cookbook. Oh, I love me some chicken and dumplings. That's what my boy used to call it. Oh, yes, I love the monkey bread. Nope. Basically, little balls of cinnamon rolls with a glaze. Yes, indeed. Interesting. Hope that the Spud Nuts come to France one day. Oh, dude. You'll either love them or you won't. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, I absolutely love them. All hail the mighty bunt cake. We rebuke the diabetes in the name of Jesus.
Hallelujah, amen.
Not gonna lose my feet today. Not gonna lose my vision. I'm gonna walk by sight, not by these tingly diabetes feet.
But if my dad saw this right now, he'd be laughing his butt off right now.
Boy. I have too much fun with that. And I'm not trying to be insulting, just in case anybody from France who doesn't know me. I am actually a licensed and ordained pastor, even though I don't have a church of my own right now. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to have fun with some of the funny stuff that we do. Hallelujah. Because we do be like that sometimes, and it's funny.
Oh yeah, but as a pastor's kid and who has actually been within the ministry since I was born, yeah, no, totally checks out. Here for the fun times, fun times and good vibes.
Times, like after church, we have gone to like a buffet or something, and oh, Brother Simpson, can you pray for us? And like, Father God, we pray your blessing over this food, and we pray that you would bind the demon of diabetes and high blood sugar and grease from this, and just take it far away from us, Father God. Take the demon of weight gain away from us, Father God. Let us enjoy the food for the nourishment of our bodies, Father God. I pray a hedge of protection around our plates. And I'm like, son, you cannot be sitting here eating that much like corn dogs off of this thing, and expect to not. That's just silly, man. You can't. You can pray, but you ain't gonna pray all that grease away, man. You need to make better choices. You need to hit the salad bar.
A tattered cape with a fur edge sounds around the neck and the shoulder. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Really adding that royal element to it. Like you're thinking, Dragon Gaming. What do you think of the colors so far, though? I got a low-key got the Bible Man colors going on for this one over here.
One of your favorite color schemes. Purple and gold. Purple and gold.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. My favorite superheroes growing up as a kid, mind you, the first superheroes I've ever encountered as a child. We're talking a lot about church, ironically enough. Growing up in the church, Larry Boy and Bible Man were the only two superheroes, the first superheroes that I grew to consciously know exist first, and then it was Adam West's Batman and then Spider-Man. But Larry Boy and Bible Man were the only two characters that wore yellow and purple as part of their costumes. Mm-hmm. Those are the only superheroes that I know that wear purple to an extent. Obviously, I know there are others that may wear it, but it's like I don't know why. That's just like
a villain character earlier on, like purple and green were villain characters and villain colors back in the old days in comics. So like seeing it switch to that, like yeah, that's why they were done in a different generation. But I love like purple and green is one of my favorite color combinations. And honestly, fun fact that comes from Disney's Rescue Rangers, because in one episode, what is it? Is Dale the dimwit? Anyway,
I believe so.
believe so. Anyway, he gets superpowers and turns into like Rubber Man or something, or Rubber Chipmunk. I don't remember what they called him, but he had a purple and green costume, and it was the first time I had ever seen that purple and green combination, and I have loved that combination ever since. It's been one of my favorite combinations. I don't use it very much because I always absolutely think of Dale in that superhero costume stretching. I actually had a stretchy superhero at one time in a purple and green costume just because I loved him so much, and thought that was the bee's knees. Let's see. Oz Dragon says, "Yeah, we're more Catholic over here, but with so much American movies and series, we got it, especially with African American shows." Oh yeah. I've made a friend warlock who wants to become the devil of delights, the true chef of hell, and a redemption paladin who creates heavenly pastries. Yeah.
So you got little Debbie over there. Got it.
Mm-hmm. The Book of Thessalonians has me screaming, says Big.
I'm sorry. Out of the Book of Thessalonians is the thing that got me ever since you said that. It's like
that was a running bit. I've done that at church, like from the pulpit a few times. I'd be like, it may not be in the Bible, but the Book of Thessalonians, chapter 4, whatever age I was, verse, whatever month that was, says, and then I would say, something stupid just to get a joke out of
a chuckle out of the
Dale's Rescue Rangers. I have the Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers theme song on my freaking playlist, and I will bop out to that. My wife laughs, just rolls her eyes at me because I will be like playing air guitar. I'm like, Bad Dale's Rescue Rangers. I will get down with that song. I love it so much. Purple was the color for royalty because it used to be the hardest color to make. Absolutely. That goes way back.
And that's probably
comic books.
And that's probably the reason why that Larry Boy and Bible Man ended up using purple. Well, I could see that more for Bible Man. I think it was more of a coincidental thing with Larry Boy growing up as a kid. And also, as a kid, I drew Larry Boy nonstop. I tell you this now.
Goes good with
God,
green. He's green. So
God bless my parents. Because I don't know how the heck they raised my dumb butt for 27 years with my ramblings of men in tights battling each other out, talking alternate universe, dinosaurs and monsters and everything. I don't know how they tolerated that for so long. Oh, I tell you, that is some of the, I really think about it. I'm like, my God, it must have sounded really annoying. Like days where they just want to relax, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I had this idea," and then just ramble on. I'm just
he says, "There's no saints anymore. I've met your dad." Yeah, I imagine you was just as big a handful as my boys were. I remember Bear, man. He had such a hard time understanding when he went to school why everybody didn't want to play superheroes all day, every day, because it was obviously the superior game. And I tried explaining to his little autistic butt that, we have to share and we have to play what other people want to play sometimes if we want to make friends. And he'll be like, I played their stupid game for 5 whole minutes and now they won't play superheroes with me for the rest of the week. I'm like, that's not fair. That's not even. But trying to get it through his little head, it was, he had such a hard time.
Mind you, my father raised 5 kids, each with their own unique interests as well. Again, I'm the one with the artistry, the comic art stuff, and the storylines and whatnot. Little brother's an entrepreneur, but he also has a legit job. He works for Tesla now, so that's interesting. My brother sells a guitar course. So if anyone wants to learn how to do some fun worship style music or just good music in general and knowing how to utilize good instruments and other stuff, go check out Light Up Worship and go check out his stuff. He's actually made some pretty good sales on his guitar course, and he's actually really good at it. I should know. I grew up with him. My sisters are yet to be determined as of right now because again they're still in college. But again, my parents having to raise 5 different kids with 5 separate interests, that is not easy. Mind you,
as much as they have is beautiful. Sorry.
Oh yeah, and mind you, no, 100% agree with that statement there as well. Because I mean, mind you, especially for an artist, our hobbies are unfortunately not. It can be as cheap as getting office supplies, but then if you really want to go hardcore with it, that's painfully expensive. So the fact that my dad got, he bought me my first Wacom tablet, my first drawing tablet, and then eventually buying the iPad for me, being the thing that really kicked off my comic making journey. That's saying a lot. That is no easy task, but that ain't cheap. But my dad always told me that it's like I'm investing in my kid's future. That's, mind you, today's day and age, that is not an easy thing to do because,
man,
due to the economy. But 5 kids, he bought my brothers my brother probably had to work for some of his stuff, like getting his own guitars and other instruments. But my dad probably pitched in having to do that. My mom had to do just as much as well. But it's like, it is not easy, raising a very creatively driven family. You know what I mean? So
not cheap. That's one of the things that people don't realize when they're like, well, I don't have any privilege. Like the privilege of even if you were interested in music at all and being able to have your parents be able to afford to get you music lessons or buy you a cheap crappy guitar to be able to practice on is a real privilege, and not everybody could afford that. And
oh yeah, if my dad was here right now, he'd tell his story. Because mind you, my dad was from a borderline broke family, and for him, this one day in particular, he got this gift from my grandpa, and essentially the gift was like some type of like keyboard-esque type of thing, and that got my dad really hooked onto music to the point where he ended up going to college for music production and stage performances. He used to do a lot of fashion shows. He did a lot of stuff related towards music. He was in a band before he got into another band with my uncle, traveling around. So mind you, that's only because my grandpa took the moment to be like, well, I noticed you've been doing this. Here's this. Have at it. And mind you, that is not an easy thing to do. So again, having the privilege of having a supportive parent is one of the best privileges one could have. Best thing to do for your kid is to buy a whole life insurance while they're young, and it's dirt cheap. The payments lower as they build equity, and by the time they're 40, they are no longer. That is great to know.
Just to explain here, Mr. Fish Comics is replying because Rick Moody tricked my little algorithm that's set up for the videos where I had just type in Green Zone if you want to get a free copy, and it will automatically reply to you and sends you a DM with the link to sign up for the email list and get your free copy of Green Zone. But using the word green in my message, in my response, will get that to happen. So I apologize. But if anybody else wants to get it, go to the Mr. Fish Comics Facebook page or Instagram and type green in any of the comments and it'll send it to you. Or zone or green zone, one or the other. I knew people would misspell it, so I did it as 2 separate words too. And now I kind of regret it because green is a pretty common one and green zone is a pretty common one. I should have made it be genome or something that people don't use in conversation quite as much. Because I'll be having a conversation with somebody and then they will trigger that just, because they said one of those words.
Okay, we got somewhere with this now. The green and purple are really working, but obviously I got to be testing out some stuff before I continue onward. All right. Loving the colors.
You are my wayward son.
There be peace when you are gone. Don't you cry no more.
All right, we don't want a copyright violation now. That's too close to the road.
Would be pumping. Maybe Mr. E's character could be pumping drugs into her, giving her the power she has. Hence the experiments. That could be true. That could very much be the case. Oh, the pink. Oof. All right. The pink is working for me here. All right, I like that. And then we're going to use a dark blue, or that royal blue color, as the stuff in between. I like it. I like it.
I like it a
All right.
lot.
I like it a lot. Alrighty then. Boom. Really gonna get scrappy with this, just because I know I can just do some drop-in parts here and there. I actually like the pink on this. I think I could just go darker with the blue though, because it is kind of standing out a bit too much from everything else. And to think like a cutesy, pretty pink, villainess is like, oh, I can destroy you. Like again, the pink is like a good contrast from the like more grungier, like, because again, the color of the grub is like orange and like an off like orangish kind of white, like an orange white combination.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, that's the other reason that so many villains were those colors, because so many good guys were red, white, and blue. So it made a great contrast to their color scheme. And so having a good contrast to the grub would be great.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now the question is, what should you know? What? Let me see. Could I do that?
Yeah,
Throws it
good.
off a little bit.
Should you there? That's what we need to know.
Oh, could I there, bud? That's the real question, eh? Oh yes, Rah! Love it. We're gonna use these for those portions here. So it's like a combination of, like, if Iron Man, or if anything in this case, Iron Woman, the Evil Queen combined with Iron Man with a dash of Knight, like, the formal. I can see this villainess being with Baron Asunder, being like, I think we could definitely work along with each other. Maybe, I don't know. Probably not. She got her own motives. Baron Asunder's too cheap for that. He got henchmen to take care of. Can't deal with a whole other villainess.
Yeah, I'm not really into sharing royalties on my evil villainry.
Sorry, you're gonna have to get your own. I already got guys to take care of. They got families. I have a 401k pension. I didn't even know I can do that. But here I am, being a dastardly villain.
The dastardliest. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, it's a little. Oh, what's the Spider-Man villain's name? Is it Mr. Negative?
Yeah, Mr. Negative is the yeah. That's him. That's the one. That's the guy.
I think this ended up with a little bit of his vibe too much. I don't know. The suit may not be the way to go. I don't know. Maybe if I can find, I don't know. Even if I find a way to make it bright, glowing white, that still might not be right. Though the idea of him cloaking the outside of himself in the bright white light of the heroes and being flaming darkness on the inside is pretty cool. I do like that. What is the name of the Baron villain from Avengers? Gosh, I have his figure over there. I knew I want to say Baron Mordo, but no, that's not it. Baron Zemo. That's what it is.
Ah, yes, him. The Captain America villain.
Yeah.
I know my heroes, I think. Maybe, potentially.
Superman is catching on to what you're laying down there. She is absolutely the one that owns the company that made the grub that bit Mateo. What are your thoughts on the Lantern show? Have you seen it? I've seen it.
No.
I like it so far. I think there's things I wish were different. I wish they were. I wish they were looking for clues to to like a murder or something in outer space. I wish they were being outer space cops, but I absolutely dig it. I absolutely like the show. I didn't think I was going to. Sniper Panda coming in with the right answer. That answer again is Baron Zemo. Baron Mordo. How about a more ghostly visage, Mr. Fish? Could be in the works. I'm thinking definitely I need to do like a color hold on the line art or something to help make it look like he's glowing more. And that blue I don't think is the right blue to try and show a glow in the blackness. I'm not sure exactly what shade of blue or whatever to use, but I need something to show.
Like, I always think cyan is always like a nice shade of blue to kind of use to an extent. It's like it's very it has that kind of light vibe. Again, using that a lot for drawing out power core. Always has that nice glow effect. All right, as much as I wanted to use the blue, it did kind of have a stark contrast, but a purple and pink combination. This is the most girly pop style villain ever, and we are here for it.
Yeah, I think that's too glowy. Glowy.
I really like this. Is actually wasn't expecting this to work out so well. Now I can't tell if I wanted to keep maybe the inside, just do like a basic orange. No. Ooh, should I do a green interior? Maybe. Really helps.
Thinking cyan coloring would be a nice choice. What are your thoughts on the upcoming People versus Gorilla Grodd show? I think it sounds ridiculous, but I'm going to give it a shot because I like ridiculous. I'm a fan of the ridiculi. Which I'm assuming
This is
ridiculous.
One of the strangest villains that I've ever had to draw. Then again, I've drawn weirder.
Yes, you have. We're all ashamed of you.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
All right. That, I believe, is a good stopping point. Except for the boots. I have not finished that up. There we go. That works. All right.
I think I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere. I need to keep working on the colors. But yeah, it's getting about that time, and we don't have a new episode of the 5-star feed, but we do have a rerun of half of last week's episode, which is airing. Which I'm not a big fan of doing the reruns, but that's what the team agreed to do, so that's what we're doing. What about Taylor Turquoise? All good ideas. I'll have to give them a shot after the show. What are your thoughts on Obsession and the Backrooms? I have not seen either of them. Obsession,
I'm not much of a.
It's just I got to be able to watch it, and I work 16 hours a day, so it's kind of tough.
Not opposed to the idea of watching those. I mean, I'm not a horror guy or a thriller guy, but I did, I have watched a lot of the Backroom stuff through the internet. Kane Parson, the guy who actually made it, he did that all while he was in high school. So the fact that he kind of turned his high school project into a continuation of his universe expanding that idea is very, very interesting. I would love to see it at some point in time, especially because I saw some of the memes and I keep watching some clips here and there, so it always intrigues me a little bit. Obsession, like I said, I'm not a horror guy, but I can see where Obsession was going with it. So who knows? I mean, I haven't personally seen it, but I would like to, and maybe could be interesting. Haven't seen the Odyssey yet? No, because I'm excited for the real Odyssey made by another Puerto Rican musician. So can't wait to see how that turns out. Epic, the Odyssey, the fact that that's gonna be awesome. Anyways, outside of that, this is the royal beast the villainess, the one who should be more or less like the owner of Iron Pulse Industries, and is the reason why the Grub even exists in my comic book universe. So this is like my Norman Osborn slash, you know, like Lex Luthor combined with Tony Stark, as well as the Evil Queen from Disney. So I had a blast putting this together. Fish, your character's looking really awesome, really interesting there. You know, the phasing out is really interesting. So outside of that, this show is about to reach its full, 2-hour limit. So we're going to end things off here. Thank you guys so much for joining. Please, while you have the opportunity, go check out the Roll for Hero Kickstarter that is currently live right now, literally ending in the next 2 days. We have reached so many high goals. I can't wait to see what comes of it. Outside of that, don't forget these 3 simple rules. Make sure to stay awesome, make sure to stay weird, and to keep life to the easiest. Always remember that art inspires all, but you can inspire more. But until then, everybody, stay Ultra.
Roll for hero.
And even if you were to have like a prompt of 10 different things, right? Like say if you had one prompt of like, oh, like here's 10 different personality traits, here's 10 different superpowers, here's 10 different drawbacks.
I like coming up with random list of powers and then just see what I